Here we go. All right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the virtual Mayor's Environmental Expo. We'll begin right at 1 o'clock, so hang in there. Maybe take this time to grab a snack or go to the washroom. Yeah, you can do that during the presentation as well, but you don't want to miss this. All right, we'll be back. Oh, and we lost Faiza. How was your lunch, Sherry? Sherry, you able to hear me okay?
Lindsay answered. I love it.
Yeah, that's just extra confirmation.
My lunch was wonderful. It was good to step outside. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, I'll have to do that after this.
I'm either going to nap or go for a long walk.
Or nap during your walk.
Yes. No, it's been very, very, very good.
I'm glad this morning as we were going through all the presentations, I had all my snacks beside me, all my ammo. I guess you couldn't have done the same.
I wasn't even hungry in the least.
Oh yeah.
I had the flutterbys.
The flutterbys. So we got 25 attendees.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone.
Don't mind us. We're just talking about our days and our lunches and.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see so many people attending. It's quite revolutionary. I am looking forward to talking to students and hear what their thoughts are on the virtual, teaching side of things. So.
Yeah. And what are they using in schools? Google Meets?
Yeah, for my kids, it's the Google Classroom. It's been good. They try to have Zoom calls every once in a while, but I think that's what my kids are missing is the interaction. So that's why this Menti, for those of you joining us, is a really fun platform.
Wow, I feel so relaxed before this event.
That's what 4 will do.
Yeah. That's what 4 will do. Oh, I guess I should log on to my Menti as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure. I think I've got. I should get mine going. Feel free to leave my camera on if you'd like, Hannah. Just because we have time either side, I feel much more relaxed. And,
Okay.
and I might try a few of these.
Ooh, okay. Do you want me to even, let's see, enlarge your screen as we go through the gifts, or do you prefer to have the presentation there?
Oh, I don't know. Can you increase the size of me?
I could just make you full screen is what I mean, like without the presentation. Mm-hmm.
Oh, just keep me in the corner.
Okay. In the corner. Not where you belong, but yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Or Sherry.
Are you going to be done after this, Sherry? Yeah. All right, we got a minute to go. If you haven't already, feel free to go to menti.com and enter your join code. We'll give you some time to do that at the beginning of the presentation as well. All right, we got some people asking when we're gonna start. We have some hellos. Hello, Jasenia, I think is how I can pronounce it. She is ready for class today. Awesome. All right, so it looks like it's 1 o'clock. Let's begin. So it looks like some of you have already navigated to the Q&A. Feel free to communicate with us through there today. Just for privacy reasons, we don't have any cameras or microphones on from any of the attendees. So really your main form of communication with us is just through this Q&A as well as through Menti. But yes, welcome to the Mayor's Environmental Expo. My name is Hannah and I will be your moderator for today. We also have Sherry, or Prairie Sherry, as she'll be presenting on why grasslands. And we're going to begin with a quick video from our Mayor Nenshi. So let's get to that. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Nahid Nenshi, Mayor Calgary, and this is my expo. I got to tell you, I love so much the Mayor's Environment Expo. I love that the municipal building is filled with kids who are excited about learning and excited about the world around them. And I'm a little sad that we're not going to be doing this in person today, but you know what? Our organizers did an amazing job, and we're still having a 31st annual Mayor's Environment Expo, held as it is every year in conjunction with National Environment Week. I'm thrilled that the team was able to adapt to our challenges. We were going to let something small like a global pandemic stop us from having the Mayor's Environment Expo, and we've switched to this virtual format where there will be 20 live sessions and 20 videos that schools and classrooms can learn from together. And it's important, even during a global pandemic, especially during a global pandemic, for us to carry on with this event. Together, we foster the well-being of our environment. We look after our air, our land, and our water. And ultimately, it's about encouraging and empowering young people to take action, to protect the environment, to shape the leaders of today through great environmental education. This really matters every single day, and it matters to me. Because ultimately, if we can't sustain our air, land, and water, then we're not doing a good job for ourselves or for future generations. And so the environment has to be at the heart of everything we do, particularly in a world where we are concerned with the changing climate. That's why the Environment Expo matters to me, because it really is an opportunity for me to see our next generation of environmental leaders do work. And I love hearing about the work of the eco leaders through the year at their various schools. So I just want to say thank you to a bunch of people. I want to say thank you to everyone hosting a session, whether it's live or pre-recorded. I really want to thank the teachers who have worked so hard through the year with our eco leader schools, but also the teachers who have desperately tried to change their whole teaching to an online platform and to include this as part of their curriculum. I especially want to thank the young people, the students, for their interest and for attending, and a special thank you to my colleagues at the City of Calgary. Just like the teachers, they've had to turn on a dime and find new ways to do things, and they've done an extraordinary job with this year's Environment Expo. Have a great expo, everybody.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Mayor Nenshi, for that message. And with that, I bring you Sherry, our presenter. Whenever you're good, feel free to pull that up and I can add it on.
I am here, Hannah. I always jump the gun. Start sharing early. Here we go.
Okay, and you're live. Good.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. It is so exciting to be here virtually, bringing you a topic near and dear to my heart. So near and dear to my heart that I want to share it. And sharing is about interaction and give and take. And therefore, we have set up a way for us to hang out and learn together. If you haven't already, we're asking you to navigate another browser window or an additional internet connected device like your smartphone or a tablet to menti.com. The address is there on your screen, and the join code is there as well. It is 131059. And just because it is so fun and we want to make sure that it's working for everybody, I would like to invite you to join me there. Where I want to make sure that I've got the join code correct. All right. Is everybody finding their way in? Hannah, do you have the join code there, 284553?
Yep, yeah, 284553.
Perfect.
And no questions on it so far. We have 49 attendees, a little bit less from our morning hundreds, but but hopefully we can get most of the 49 up there.
That is okay, and it's mostly grade 4. That's exciting. This grade 4 is what this program was built for. Alberta's Story is one of your main curriculum connections, and so excited to see you here. We'll give everybody a moment to find their space in Menti. It's a really fun platform. You might be seeing it for the first time. You might be super experienced with it, which is exciting. It's my first time, and I am in love with it. This is not my favorite type of question here with the dots. You will soon see my favorite as we go along. So I've got 22, 23 joining us in Menti. With that, I'm going to keep it open. Feel free to let us know what grade you're in as we start our presentation. Okay, and Hannah, could you please just reiterate the Menti code one more time I'm afraid my first slide, I don't think it was quite right. So if you could reiterate, it's menti, menti.com at code.
At 284553. You can also see it in the Q&A if you go to the very top. You can find the code there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Welcome. This is where we're going to start and actually eventually come to conclude our time together this afternoon. It's kind of a space needing some warming up, just like Menti. It's better when we're together. And as I fill your screen with beautiful creatures, I want you just to take a moment, take a breath, and see if you see any friends, anyone you're familiar with. If you do, write that name of that creature name in the Q&A and let us know that we're connecting. Let us know who you see, who you recognize. I'm willing to bet there's a few that you may not know. I certainly didn't when I started my journey in creating this program, oh my goodness, a whole year ago in June. The colors are here, the creatures are here, but what I'm really hoping you can do is take a step back and not look at the individuals, but look at the whole picture. What we're seeing here all together is what? How would you describe what all these creatures together represent? Any ideas?
Right, and you can bring this to the Q&A. What animals do you see or recognize? We have a fox. Someone said an Arctic fox. A duck. What else do you see? A fox. Any other
Anyone
thoughts, Mark?
Anybody picking up on the big picture? What are these creatures all together? What do they represent? They're all Alberta creatures. You might have got that. They're all definitely wildlife. Anyone thinking along the lines of I heard you breathe? Hannah, do you have one there?
Yeah, we just got ecosystems over here. Yeah. Excellent.
Ecosystem is what I was hoping for, because what we think of when we think of an ecosystem is interconnection. What I'm hoping you'll see here in this picture, where all these cast of characters live, is the idea of relationships. Relationships are key to where we're headed this afternoon. And where we're headed is a program called Why Grasslands? Now that's a big question. So big that I'm actually not going to dive into it quite yet. I'm going to start with something a little bit more direct. And that's, who is CPAWS? Who is this voice that you're hearing? Hannah, I'm assuming my camera's on?
Yeah, you're up there with the presentation. Okay.
Awesome. And CPAWS is who I work for. My name is Sherry, and Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society of Southern Alberta is here to take you on a journey. Now, CPAWS is a group that is a non-profit environmental organization. We work across Canada, but here in Alberta, we work from Red Deer down to Waterton Lakes National Park, and we protect and create and connect wild places like Kananaskis, Banff National Park, Castle Provincial Park, all these places that are so special to us, our well-being, and our identity as Albertans. So welcome. I can't leave this slide without introducing this guy. This is a burrowing owl. I'll betcha it was one of the creatures that you did recognize. He's quite famous in terms of his cuteness. He weighs only about 5 pounds. He loves to house hunt in places where rattlesnakes and ground squirrels have been before. And if you think this is cute, wait till you check out these guys. These, of course, are the owlets, as sweet can be. And they are just buzzing with a question for you. they're wondering, in one word, if you could tell us, where do you live? It sounds so simple and so straightforward, possibly a trick question, Sherry? Not at all. I want to know in Menti, if you could please let me know where you live. How would you answer the question? That's what I want to get at. Someone were to ask me right now, Cochrane, that's where I live. How's everybody doing? Oh, here comes some answers. Perfect. Mountains, Calgary, Alberta, yahoo! Absolutely, that provincial connection. Calgary, definitely the city that we proudly, wow, look at Calgary grow. I love this. As you contribute answers, if you have the same answer as someone else, the response gets larger. And as you can see, Calgary is the most popular response. Oh, right on. I'm seeing neighborhoods come up. I'm seeing Copperfield. I live in Sunset Ridge in Cochrane. Some people live in places, Mount Royal, I'm trying to think of Heritage Hills here in Cochrane. The name of your neighborhood, absolutely. I'm waiting to see if anyone's going to mention what type of dwelling. As I mentioned, the burrowing owl lives in the dens of creatures that came before it. Some people like to answer this question by saying, I live in a house. I love here. I love it. Parkland and the earth. Oh, yay. We have to do a shout out to Mother Earth, don't we? Thank you for bringing that in. Awesome. Yeah, this question is important so much to this presentation because as you guys are ticking in your answers, what I find remarkable is that nobody yet, and I've been in lots of classrooms, especially grade 4s, that it is very rare that anyone answers the question, do you live, or where do you live, and give us the answer of this place. People who live in Canmore often say, where do you live? Oh, I live in the mountains. People that live in Nova Scotia often say, oh, I live in the Maritimes. What I find so remarkable by people in Cochrane, Calgary, Okotoks, when you ask them where they live, their city, neighborhood come to mind, but rarely do they say this place. I'd like to welcome you all to the Grasslands. The Grasslands is a mighty ecoregion here in Alberta, one that I'm sure you got to study in grade 4. An ecoregion so incredible, I've spent an entire year researching it, and I've had so much fun. When it comes to the Grasslands, the research I've conducted has been marvelous and very interesting because I've got it down to simply one word to describe this entire place in all of its amazingness. I'm curious. I'm heading back to Menti. When you look at this place, what would you use to describe it? How does this place appear to you? This grasslands that I keep referring to. What emotions, what words, what sounds, what sights do you see here in this picture and in the grasslands? Take a breath and imagine yourself standing with this on the horizon. Oh, yay! Sky, huge part of the grasslands. They call it, in Saskatchewan, they're called the land of the living sky. Hilly, pretty, beautiful, birds. Oh, cycling, I love it. Grassy, yeah, you can't, you can't deny that one. Wonderful. Oh, thank you. For the person who said boring, you are in good historical company. When people started coming across from the east to start developing the west, lots of people landed here and said, what? This place is boring, devoid of life, vast, uninhabitable. I know, remarkable. This place that we have built our homes. Oh, the word cloud just keeps growing. Everybody is providing such fantastic words. Open, lots of space, interesting, wonderful, yellow. I love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Keep putting your words into the word cloud. I'm just going to bring us back to the presentation because I have to share my word. My word is this: generous. Now I know in grade 4, grade 5, you know what this word means. Generosity is about giving. It's about taking that which you have and sharing. And the grasslands of our province, of our Alberta, are no less than this word. And I think in one of my best definitions, the epitome of generous. Now, I didn't come to just tell you that. I got to prove it, right? So we're going to set out on our grasslands journey, this generous idea in mind. But first, we should talk about what the grasslands are. This is one of my favorite examples. I'd like to welcome you all to Saskatchewan. And the reason I bring you to Saskatchewan is there they have this place, this beautiful place called Grasslands National Park, an entire place devoted to the ecoregion that we're exploring. Now, if you were to describe grasslands to a person from, say, the Northwest Territories, you might use the vegetation as a way to describe it. It is actually the easiest way to describe a grassland. It's a place where the largest variety of plant life is grasses, and grasses are phenomenal. Did you know there's 10,000 different species of grass out there? And that, well, another question. When it comes to knowing grasslands, we should consider the globe, right? So, true or false? Grasslands are found on every continent of this blue planet. What do you think? I'll give you a moment. All right, lots of people immediately to the true. Okay. Let me read it out one more time. True or false? Grasslands are found on every continent of the world. Very interesting. I'm seeing a trend. All right, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds and then I'm going to close the voting and show you the correct answer. Ask your parents. Ask your grandmother, your best brother, buddy, what they think. Are grasslands found on every continent of the world? All right. I'm going to show you the answer. They're not. Now, it's a bit of a trick question. We do have a continent as part of our world that doesn't tend to grow much at all. And that, of course, is Antarctica. And Antarctica is the one place on the planet that doesn't have grassland ecosystems. Now, many of you thinking about grasslands might have traveled to this beautiful part of the world. Welcome to the African savanna. And yes, grasslands go by different names. You've probably already used the word prairie, grassland, steppe, savanna. These are all places in the world that refer to a vegetative world where the grasses are king or queen. Now, here in the savanna, it's a very different grassland than the one we call home. This one is called a tropical grassland. They get more precipitation, if you can imagine. However, they lack something that we definitely get in spades. Snow or seasons. That's right. Here in Alberta, we are not tropical, not by any scrape of the imagination. We are of a temperate grassland persuasion. Now, temperate grasslands are cool because we may receive less precipitation, but it's spread out over the whole course of the year. And we get fluctuations in temperature that provide us with seasons Yay, winter. I'm happy to see spring, don't get me wrong, but I love that we have all 4 seasons here in our temperate grasslands in Alberta. And the grasslands here grow vegetation that, believe it or not, is more lush. And that is important when you consider this. The grasslands of Canada, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba combined, the way I grew up, the only way to think about it was the breadbasket of Canada. There is a reason why all our food, all our wheat, all our soy and canola grows so beautifully on the prairies of Alberta. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. The grasslands are plentiful and life here is mighty fine. But imagine my surprise in my research to discover that this is actually the true face of grasslands in Alberta. I'd like to welcome you all to the native grasslands of Alberta. This is how nature intended a grassland to be. And if you wanted to throw a few comments in the Q&A, I'd love to know if you see the differences between this and that. There's a lot to talk about. Here, the biggest impact is man. That is a cultivated cropland, a monoculture, if you will. Here, we're growing hay to feed our livestock that feeds us. Here, not just one, but amazing amounts of variety. In this picture alone, you can count, my goodness, at least 8 different plants just by color alone. Wild strawberry, chickweed, and what's also very important is the space you see between the plants. This is how nature grows a grassland. Now, I was talking about generosity, and generosity doesn't mean much without presence, right? So I have here a grouping of gifts from the grasslands that we're going to open together with pictures and hints. But you can't open a present without untying the bow. And this bow, of course, belongs to the king or queen of the grassland plant universe. And this is, of course, the grasses itself. In Alberta, we have lots of provincial creatures and plants. We have the wild rose as our flower. We have the great horned owl as our provincial bird. The Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep as our provincial animal. Well, this picture here in front of you, I'd like to introduce you to our provincial grass. We're the only province in Canada to have one, and it is known as rough fescue. It is a type of bunch grass that shows off and exemplifies all the things that make grasses so cool. Grasses grow from the ground, and that is pivotal when you think about the extreme weather and changing climate that we live in Alberta. We get fires, we get droughts, we have hungry cattle. And because grass has the ability to regenerate itself quickly from a base growing area, grass comes back again and again and again. Its leaves are thin and long and not a lot of places for the sun to hit to burn. It moves and it's flexible and can be stepped on and comes back again and again and again. But what truly makes grasses in Alberta amazing is this, the roots. The root system of our prairie bunchgrass is intense. I myself am 5'4", tall for my family, and the roots of the grasslands average 7 to 10 feet of the native grasslands. I know, it's unbelievable. It's a world that I really knew nothing of because you can't see it. grasses are like icebergs. 20% is all you get to see above the ground. The true magic and the gifts exist well beyond vision in the roots. So what are these gifts? There's 4 of them. And I'd like to unwrap a few with you right now. I'm going to give you a visual hint, this one, and ask what you see, what present might be represented here in the grass. Hannah, let me know if you see anything coming through in the Q&A on that.
Okay, so yeah, if everyone can go to the Q&A, how is this a gift from the grasslands? Let us know. What do we see here? We've got roots, got soil. What else?
Those are good answers.
Bit of a quiet audience this time round, that's okay. We got soil from Scott. Thanks, Scott. Nutrients.
Yes. Think about those roots and think about what they're doing in terms of their life cycle. They grow down deep, support the grasses, keep the grassland together, and then they complete their cycle of life. The carbon that they leave behind is enriching. It fertilizes the ground from 10 feet deep, creating this incredible layer of humus. I keep saying humus soil. I must be hungry. The soil in Alberta's temperate grasslands is incredibly fertile. It's because it all decomposes and stays together and creates nutrients, microbes, all that good stuff that makes the planet whole. So fertility is a huge gift from the grasslands. Second gift is kind of foreshadowed here. The grasslands is present, and you have to think about the relationship we have with it, especially here in Calgary and area. And I have a little gift that I can physically open up for you guys here. Hannah, do let me know if I'm doing it for everyone to see.
Yeah, we can see you great.
Awesome. So this little box contains some really interesting things. Oh, they're tiny little sponges shaped like tears. No, I don't think they're tears. What do you think is represented here as a gift to the grasslands?
Yeah, so looking at the photo on the screen as well as what Sherry's holding up, these blue sponges, what do you think that's trying to represent? Oh, we got rain. Someone's guessing space.
Good answers.
We have oxygen.
Ooh, part of the equation, for sure. When these big rain events come through, like we've had several in the last couple of weeks, the rain comes in buckets. And rain like that can cause things like flash floods. But because of our grasslands and its ability to sponge up the moisture that comes from the clouds into its root system that goes so deep in the ground, we're protected. This water is also filtered and it's also held because we get droughts here in Alberta. And because grass has the ability to save for a rainy day, literally, oh, I just came up with that, I like that. They have the ability to regrow and renew itself again. So the idea of moisture retention, filtration, and flood mitigation, all of these are huge gifts from the grasslands.
Yeah, we did have one student, sorry Sherry, we did have one student say that it looks like potentially sponges under the soil.
Ah, right on, you got it. The next gift, there's a lot of hints in this picture. There is, of course, a beautiful sun wheel that is paying homage to the culture and generations of people that have made the grasslands their home for thousands of years, to present day, to right now. Grasslands like this in Nose Hill Park are part of our great city right now. But our great city and us do make an impact on the grasslands and our environment, in our daily lives of driving cars, heating homes, eating food out of plastic wrappers. All of these things create carbon that is going up into our atmosphere and changing the climate, raising the temperature of our Earth. So I'm curious, if I were to unwrap this present and show you it's a piece of wood with a C on it, what do you think's represented as a gift here from the grasslands? Any ideas?
Okay. Some people asking if that's Nose Hill Park.
It is.
Yeah, lots of people noticing the rocks and the stones. And I guess more specifically directed to the wood with the C on it. What do you think that's talking about in terms of grassland gifts? Someone asked if C is for coal.
Ooh, good question. C is for carbon.
Ooh, there's your hint. C is for carbon. So what do you think the grasslands do with carbon?
Think about those roots. We talked about how they decompose and become carbon that's held in the ground and feeds the plants. We also tend to forget that grass is a plant. And what do plants give us every day, relentlessly? I hear it. Oxygen.
Oxygen.
That's right. Oxygen, I just felt it come through the Q&A. Oxygen is a gift from plants, and everybody tends to think about rainforests and maybe they think boreal forests, but very few of us think about the grasslands and its gifts of not only giving oxygen, but taking in carbon. And what's incredible about grasslands in this capacity is that deep, dark root system has the amazing capabilities of holding on and keeping safe carbon to take it out of our atmosphere and balance. It's one of the most incredible nature-based climate solutions around. I have a quote here that says, worldwide, grasslands contain over 50% of the world's organic carbon. Isn't that amazing? The amount of carbon in the soil helps offset the rise in carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So holy cow, amazing gift. Now we still got one more. This one's my favorite to unwrap. This one is not poop. I'm curious what you think this is.
All right, any thoughts to what Sherry's holding up? Can anybody see what she's holding up? Give you a hint, it's an animal.
It's a sign of an animal.
Right.
Some of you might recognize it as an ungulate hoof. It's not a deer. It's not a moose.
We got horseshoe.
Oh, horse. Good guess. It is a it is a domestic creature now.
There's cow, a hoof, an animal hoof.
If you're thinking along the lines of cow and cattle, you're not far, but you have to actually go a lot further to get this creature's name, because this is Starts with a B.
Yeah, we got a buffalo from Jemima.
Awesome! This is the hoof print of a bison. Some call it buffalo, bison. It's like tomato. Same creature. But what I'm curious is, where's the gift? Why is bison considered a gift from the grasslands? For this answer, we have to step back in time to the beginning when we looked at that huge cast of characters. When we looked at that cast of characters, we looked at relationships, and that is a gift from the grasslands. Because symbiosis exists not only in the bison eating the grass, but the grass fortifying the bison. The bison eats it, poops it out, spreads the seeds of the grass, helps tramp down, encourage decomposition. I've actually heard tell that there is growth serum in bison saliva that actually helps produce its next meal. So it's the relationships and the biodiversity that is the gift here. Here, Exhibit A shows you bison poop. That is not just sitting there doing nothing. It's producing an entire ecosystem onto itself. Bison poop has been known to support up to 30 different kinds of bugs. What? Now that might not impress you if you're not a bug person, I get it. But you can see the growth of plant life and fungi that is all supported through relationships. And the relationships of our Alberta, amazing. Bison are said to have been in herds as big as 60 million large, supporting not only grasses, but sedges, flowers, bird nests, and therefore songbirds, bugs. What's the... Sorry, I lost train of thought. The type of bird that is a raptor, creating and supporting life of creatures like our swift fox, our black-tailed prairie dog, and our greater sage grouse. So huge gift. And I'd really like to read this out as a quote. Here we go. From the retreat of the last glacier to the breath you're about to take, the gifts of our grasslands have provided inspiration, perspiration, adoration, innovation, alienation, satisfaction, and fascination. They have filled our senses, provided our work, our food, our play, our history, and most importantly, our home. The gifts of the grasslands have made us who we are, and we receive them with open arms and hearts. I'm feeling the feels. I think you're getting what I'm throwing down. When it comes to the grasslands, they are givers. But for a moment, I want you to think about a giver in your life. Maybe it's your dad or your grandmother or your best friend. Somebody who's there for you at a moment's notice, whenever, with whatever you need. Sometimes givers fall into a trap. They give and 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 they give, and something happens. Maybe you've had this happen to yourself. Yeah, they get tired and they find that the gifts they have to give aren't so plentiful. And this is unfortunately where the gifts of the grassland fall short. Because the grasslands have been giving and we have been receiving. But of our 24 million hectares of native grasslands in Alberta, we're running out. We've taken about 75% of our grasslands and built our homes and our transportation routes and our wonderful, amazing Alberta. Leaving just 25% of our native grasslands. Now, I'm going to follow me back, if you wouldn't mind following me back to Menti. I have a couple questions about this 25% for you. Knowing that we once started with 100% and are down to 25%, what percent of our Alberta species at risk do you think live in the grasslands? One of the biggest reasons species go extinct is not because they're hunted, but because they start losing their home, their places to live. Maybe because we start building our homes where their homes once were. So what percent of Alberta species at risk, so like the swift fox, the burrowing owl, what percentage do you think are grassland species? It's incredible, actually. I'm going to give you a second with that question. Great job, everybody. It's a tight one. I didn't put 10% because, well, it is a big number. It's not 100%, I'm happy to say that. But unfortunately, it is bigger than 50%. When it comes to Alberta's species at risk, almost 80% of them are grasslands creatures and need and ache for Alberta's native grasslands. So those creatures that I've been highlighting, those beautiful burrowing owls and swift fox, their world is changing. And with 25%, well, let's go to the next question. If we've got 25% left of our native grasslands, how much of that 25% do you think we've protected? 100%, right? What do you think? Of that 25% that we have left, how much of that 25% have we protected? Ooh, I hope it's all of it. I hope it's 100%. I'll give you a moment with that one too. Well, there's some big votes coming in now. I'm going to close the voting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For those of you who voted for close to 100%, thank you. It is my hope too that if we only have 25% left, we're going to protect all of it. Not the case. Close to 50%? You know what, that one makes sense. I mean, come on, we have to give nature half, so 50% makes sense. Unfortunately, my friends, none of you got the answer right. And that's good because you're optimists and thinkers of positive thoughts. When it comes to our grasslands here in Alberta, we have only protected 1.29% of that 25% that we have left, which is kind of ridiculous and definitely one of the reasons we're here as CPAWS, as Albertans, to talk about this amazing place that gives so much. I mean, thinking about it as a giver, what can we do? What can we do? If you had your mom there and she's tired because she's given everything all day, what's something you could do? What's something you could do? I'm going to throw that to the Q&A box. What can you do for that giver you love so much in your life that gives and gives and gives and gives, that might feel a little taken for granted? What would you do?
Okay, let's see if there's anything in the Q&A box over here. So yeah, what is something that you can do for our givers in our lives? So for our moms and our parents, or
Grandparents, best friends.
We have some people expressing that this is kind of sad that they're, yeah.
It's a revelation for lots of people. Number one, a lot of people don't know the grasslands. And then number two, we find out how great they are, and wow, they need protecting. So I'm happy to say it's not a sad story, because when it comes to a giver, the natural thing that you can do is give back. Reciprocation is huge and possible and available, especially when it comes to the grasslands. We built this program as a classroom program over 2 days, and we spent an entire half of the program talking about how we, you and me, can give back to the grasslands. And there are lots of ways. And the number one way, where they'll all come to you, is if you have a look, see the beauty, take a breath, and remember relationships. Because it's relationships that give back to the grasslands. This woman here is harvesting sweetgrass. You may have seen it, you may have smelled it, you may have used it in a smudge. She is harvesting sweetgrass in a way that ensures that the plant can produce grass the next year. She's doing it the way her mother taught her, and the way her mother's mother taught her. She's Blackfoot. She is of a culture and a community that has known the grasslands for over 10,000 years. So when it comes to givebacks and fortifying our grasslands, without a doubt, honoring Indigenous ways of knowing is pivotal. If I were to ask somebody about you, who do you think the best person to ask would be? Probably your parents, maybe your teacher, best friend, somebody who really knows you. And without a doubt, getting to know, honoring, and learning from Indigenous peoples is the best give back a grassland can receive. Another cool gift is understanding processes. And this is a process that Indigenous people have understood for millennia. The power of renewal through fire. Grasslands cannot be simply grown. You can't throw seeds at a landscape and expect a grassland to grow. It takes thousands of years and lots of different processes, like fire. And fire renews and ignites growth. These pictures are taken 1 year after the Kenow fire in Waterton Lakes National Park. The aspen groves are still burnt to a crisp, but the prairie recovered the very next year. Incredible. The next gift is another relationship that's all around us. Ranching and cows and natural grazers like moose and deer, sheep and goats. We're only now appreciating what these creatures do to a landscape like the grasslands. If they're managed correctly, they don't take and take and take. They give, just like the bison before them, with seed sorry, my tongue is dispersing seeds, giving fertilizer, and connecting us to culture. The ranching culture in Alberta is strong, and we have a lot to learn from it in understanding and giving back to the land. Huge gift, or give back, I should say. The next gift is hidden in the grasses here. It's represented by a white-tailed deer. It is nature and conserving and protecting And it's the reason I work with CPAWS. Because as I mentioned, grasslands don't simply grow because you sow the seeds and hope it so. Grasslands, the ones we have, are precious and well-rooted and crispy coated with our cryptogamic layers. And they need to be protected. They need to be connected as much as possible. So when it comes to protecting and connecting our grasslands, we need to work with municipalities. We need to work with Cochrane and Calgary and Glenbow Ranch Provincial Park, because animals don't see boundaries and grasslands grow from the edges. So giving back is understanding and connecting with these wild places. And speaking of connecting, the most important give back, is the reason I do what I do. I get to take kids out on the landscape, both in person and virtually, and introduce them to the amazing that their grasslands are. And hopefully they see that the give back is them. By being at this presentation, by answering my questions, by participating in my surveys, you are getting to know your grasslands. And by getting outside, being a steward, taking action, learning more, joining us, and falling in love just a little bit is going to make our grasslands grow, because we take care of what we love. And what we love, what we are, is home in the grasslands. And it's the whole reason why grasslands matter. So hopefully, my friends, you'll take a little bit of grasslands, put it inside your heart, hold it tight, and need and want to know more. And if you'll join me over at Menti, your job right now is to show us and tell us how we did in growing that grassland good vibe inside of you. Because the better we get at programming and bringing you the grasslands, the more we can do to help and promote this important, beautiful place. So tell us, was learning about generous grasslands your favorite part? About CPAWS? Seeing yourself and connecting with this amazing environment? What'd you like best? The fun activities are good. I'm glad to see you say that. I know I'm going to be delving into Menti just as much as I can, because boy, it feels like you're here with me in my house, in my room, because that's where I'm broadcasting from. And I want to thank you for being here. Couple more questions. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds on this one. I'm so excited to see all the things you're going to try or what you liked best about this program. So appreciated. Thank you. Next question. In terms of the length of the presentation, was it, whoops, sorry, back it up, Sherry. Was it too short? Was it perfect? Was it too long? Be honest, we want to hear. If you had a good time, then I feel like we're hitting the sweet spot. If we perked up your interest, definitely. If you no longer see the prairie as boring, I've done my job. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds on this one. A couple more questions. So appreciate you being here to answer these questions. How is the pace for you? In a virtual world, it's hard to see if people are scrambling for the Q&A or are finding the questions with the answers okay. Was it too slow, perfect, or too fast? We're always looking to improve ourselves. Thank you so much for voting. This means the world. It's made all our hard work worthwhile, having you here connecting with us right now. I'm going to give us 5 more seconds on this, because my favorite question is coming up. In this program, did you learn about ways that we can all give back to the grasslands? Yes or no? Oh, just look at those numbers ticking in. Beautiful job. I'm so excited that you're seeing the give back, the positive, the change that we can make. It's not a sad story. It's a continuing story. And grasslands and givebacks are in our future. And you've just shown me that. Oh my goodness, look at that. 100% yes. I'm so excited to see and hear that. Thank you. Lastly, I'm curious, how are you going to take action and give back to the grasslands? Now that you know how cool they are, how much they need us, what are you going to do to take action? Are you going to get outside and explore one? Find one locally? Are you going to tell others about how cool they are and how generous they are? Are you going to keep learning about grasslands? You can check more than one. Are you going to seek out ways to support groups like CPAWS that work really hard to protect and make sure people know about these important landscapes? Oh my goodness, guys, this is wonderful. Look at all the ways that you're going to get out there and make a difference. See, positive, happy, ongoing story. Oh man, I'm lifted. Okay, I'm going to close the voting in this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last question. Did today's program make you want to know more or take part in our action challenge? Now, the action challenge is unique because it is all about the small ways that we can make a difference. Just like we talked about, when it comes to grasslands, nobody's going to go out there and save them all on their own. We got to work together. And the action challenge, you can find out about it on our last slide, is a way that you can work with your family, your class, your group of Girl Guides or Boy Scouts to make difference in our world. That's what the Environmental Expo is all about. So if you're curious and want to know more, we're going to put the website up for you to dive in to discover how you can connect with CPAWS and we can keep this relationship going. I'm so glad you're here and I'm so excited that you're on and part of our tribe. Because this is our home. I hope you and the grasslands have a long and beautiful relationship from this day forward. May the grasslands be with you always. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Well, round of applause, and we won't be able to hear you, but we'll pretend to hear you. Round of applause for Sherry and that Grasslands program. And again, if you want to get easy access to the link, I put it in the Q&A, and you can check out our action challenge. And that's it from us. That's it from CPAWS. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll catch you in the future, whether in your classrooms or virtually. Thanks, everyone.